What do love, transcendent sex, and the 5D have in common? Stick around, we're going to talk about this. Hi, this is Liana, Holistic Intimacy Coach. Welcome back to my channel. Here, I help you get your fantastic intimacy. So, I got this insight yesterday. I got a glimpse of an insight, and I want to share it here. Sometimes I work a lot around stuff that are serious. Let's talk about something light, if you consider this topic light. So, I mentioned last week that I went through a really intense day where negative emotion was overwhelming me like a lot. I was pretty triggered, and I worked through it with breath work. And by the way, I shared a practice here video, and yesterday I went through a healing session for myself. So I was the coachee, not the coach. After that session, in which I was working with what? With stuff related to love and intimacy. Just because I'm a coach, it doesn't mean sometimes I'm not triggered by things intuitively, because last week I didn't know what it was about. Intuitively, I was like, maybe this is about intimacy and sexuality and love. So I chose this topic, and I chose somebody that I trust to work with around this topic. Intense session is not easy to work on these things, especially the ones that are overwhelming, triggering, nasty. I'm the first one to admit this, but it's necessary. So at the end of the session, I was exhausted and lying down on my yoga mattress. I got this glimpse. It was just a glimpse. I don't know if it was a thought or a feeling. I can't say that. It was just a glimpse, but it was clear enough to me what it was. When you love somebody, you love them. Or why don't I put it in the first person? Because this was about me. When I love somebody, I love the person and I want to know what they were like when they were a kid, a baby, an infant. I have access to that. When they were a teen, a young adult, in the present. And I want to be with them and see them all the way to the end. And my intensity for my love for the person would not diminish. That's the power of love, the way I see it. You're there with the soul and you want to understand as much as possible from where they came when they came into this life all the way to the end. Maybe that's the 5D. Because the image in my mind, when I looked at some stuff around, online about the 5D, I remember the images shown about a person all the way from the stage of an embryo. There were these images, like in multiple mirrors, multiple reflections, just with the person growing and growing and growing all the way to their old. The glimpse that I got was, no, in the 5D. You see your soul from when it first detached from spirit, the universal spirit, it became an individual soul, and it has its evolution through multiple incarnations, all the way to when it gets or goes back to spirit. I got just a glimpse of that. And again, it was so short, so brief. I was a bit not in my usual state of consciousness, that I don't know if it was a feeling or an image. It just happened. But that's what the 5D would be for me. What does it have to do with transcendent sex? Firstly, I'm reading actually this book called Transcendent Sex. I'm halfway through it. Somewhere in the middle, there are stories of people that have experienced in deep, intimate, sexual, but loving also, soulful, intimate moments. They saw the faces of their partners transfigure, and they saw different faces coming up on the face, on the heads of their partners. Not negative, not dark or anything, just different faces. Some people would see different faces, including those of animals. And again, not that it's possession or anything, although I understand there's also a branch of sexuality where it goes into the dark aspect of it, the shadow. This one was portrayed from the light. So somebody seeing onto their partner other incarnations of themselves as men, women, animals, all of that. When I read it, the explanation was that you have access to heightened states of consciousness, including in intimacy. So sometimes you can pierce through the veil, which is the material world. Some religions also accept reincarnation, including Buddhism. The explanation given there was you have access to what's beyond the material when you have very deep, soulful, intimate moments. What was also explained in the book, it's not that it happened every time or with absolutely any partner that the person telling the story had sex with. No, it's never like that. It's certain people, certain relationships, certain levels of opening up from a soul level. It's a sacred act. It really is. In my mind, it was also, love, pure love. Can open your soul, the other person's soul, and you can see probably to what is known. This is something that I picked up. I don't remember in which book or what I was reading, that there are states of consciousness in the mineral world. That's a very long and slow evolution, by the way, because minerals, they don't change their state very fast. They do not. Then there's the plant consciousness, which is a bit faster. There's animal consciousness, human consciousness, and what people also speak in a lot of those neo-spiritual videos about superhuman consciousness. Yes. So in my mind, it was like, okay, somebody that saw on their beloved other faces of people and then other faces of animals, this person was seeing into their partner's previous incarnations. What is it like to see also this about yourself? I don't know. I didn't come in the book across experiences like that. Just like in the book, it was said, not everybody has this experience through sex, and not every time. And people can have, in transcendent sex, you have experiences of all kinds, like states of bliss. There are beautiful tales of that also. States of healing, where you purge your emotions, including people that went through traumatic experiences and their capacity to feel, not just physically, but also emotionally, was a bit diminished. One thing that is true, when you make love with your soul present there, you have access to more than what is otherwise accessible to you, including if you have been through trauma, severe wounding, and all of that. So beautiful, beautiful, and powerful intuitions, insights, which I had access, just a glimpse now, because I'm healing something. It came over me a while back. Thank God I did the first cleansing, because if you don't cleanse the immediate stuff, you can't do more complex processes to clean yourself, heal, understand, open up, grow, expand yourself, all of that. So that's I don't know if it was a light conversation or a heavy one for you. I have no idea. I would love to know how this landed for you. I remember I was so excited yesterday when I felt those things. Even if it was just a spark. I'm like, yes, I'm doing something right here. And I want to remind you once more, in order for us to be bigger than what we are right now, in a beautiful, positive, in the light way, cleaning ourselves from within and purging what is diminishing our light, narrowing our vision or our capacity to feel, working on those things, purging them, is the first step. I have that resource. Call it the first aid kit for personal growth. It's in my Patreon community. And you have access to over 116 practices now in English, and over 118 practices in Romanian. If you wanted to try it, check it out. It's going to help you. And in time, who knows, you might get access to understanding the 5D. Like, who knows what's going to happen next. Okay, I'd love to know what you think. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.